PA's skills appear deceptively simple, but pushing them to their limits makes her mechanically one of the hardest heroes in Dota 2. These mechanics are the focus this video. We go slightly deeper than average, so it could be worth singling out a few things to focus on. As of 7.35b, PA's dagger does 80 damage without items, so even level 1 dagger is great for last hitting. Level 2 dagger does slightly more than 96, which out damages tier 1s, so you should never miss under tower, in theory. To illustrate, this is a last hit chart for melee creeps at 1080 resolution, incremented by 1 pixel each row. In the parentheses, the first number is the max possible health, the second is your required damage adjusted for 2 armor. Most cores hit in the 4 to 5 range, so level 1 dagger, which sits at a 6, out damages them. I recommend familiarizing yourself with the chart. Yes, experienced players can differentiate each pixel by feel, but even immortal players randomly miss uncontested last hits because they haven't put a number to that feeling. It's a similar story if you have a 1440 screen. Notice that the damage values differ for the 2 different resolutions, which changes how reliably PA can last hit at the extremities. We'll digress because this topic is not mechanics, but as a teaser spoiler for the next video, we do end up concluding that after the -2 agility nerf in 7.34b, the numbers now work such that PA plays early lane better in 1440 resolution. Let's talk about our first basic PA combo. Since dagger is great for last hitting, PA often combines it with an attack to secure contested last hits. That said, PA has deceptively non-commutative skills. Do you dagger or auto first? To save mana and avoid giving stick charges, you ideally want to auto first and hold your dagger. Best case scenario, you attack twice, worst case, you dagger. However, dagger has a fixed 0.3 second cast point, giving the enemy a consistent deny window. This also assumes you daggered exactly after your attack, which is difficult. Not to mention, dagger has a travel time if you're not standing right on the creep. In contrast, while PA's attack animation is also 0.3, it scales multiplicatively with attack speed, rounded up to the nearest server tick. So PA's attack animation scales as follows. Consequently, PA's animation is around 0.233 during the laning phase. As a side note, the attack animation timings are another reason why the 7.34b 2 agi nerf was a sore spot for PA. Moderate stats used to give PA the 129 attack speed she needed for a 0.233 attack animation level 1. But now PA needs 8 agi to hit 129 attack speed, requiring significant gold and slot stat investments. If you also dagger from the edge of PA's 150 attack range, the dagger travel time will trim your combo by another 0.1 seconds. All of this combined makes the QA combo much sharper. Basically, QA is for a quick last hit, and AQ is more situational. AQ is trickier because PA's attack animation varies, but both are cornerstones in more complicated combos we'll discuss later. Phantom Strike makes PA a nuanced hero. It's a straightforward spell until we combo it with her Q. When we combo these 2 spells, it elicits a simple fundamental question. Do you dagger or Phantom Strike first? This question is this chapter. The typical PA full commit combo is QW. This combo is nice since you align the dagger slope with your autos, and this is the preferred combo for most players unless their Q is on cooldown. That said, PA has an alternative burst combo, WQ. The cast point of W is 0.266 and Q is 0.3. With this combo, you can cast dagger in between your attacks when you'd be idle anyway. You do the same damage except 0.3 seconds faster. This is useful in time-sensitive scenarios and is the more principal combo because PA capitalizes on narrow windows of opportunity. Late game, when you have shard, you can also insert it in the combo. It's a 0.166 cast time. It's easy. In the laning phase, you often use W first because at early levels, Q has low range. I've seen immortal players take a full second to walk into Q range to QW an enemy being shackled by Shaman. Don't. This combo is preferred if you have a limited window of opportunity, like if they're stunned, out of position, or you have to burst them because Axe caught someone in a call or Witch Doctor maledicted someone. Basically, in any situation where every split second counts. Need a quick pickoff? WQ. On the other hand, the QW combo is preferred when the 0.3 seconds you would gain doesn't matter. For example, in a late game when PA is blurred and she can initiate at her leisure. There are also cases where you want the dagger to hit first for a higher crit chance, which we'll discuss next chapter. It's also easier, especially late game, when there are many buttons. A notable edge case is when the target is already running from you. Then the standard combo is obligatory. If you blink first, they are running away full speed during your attack animation and Q cast time. You'll waste your buff chasing them. That said, if they are cutting through trees and flitting in and out of vision, you may prefer W for its lower cast time. There are also some cases where you blink and skip the auto to dagger for vision. There's another edge case where QW is better. I imagine a good player would go for an efficiency play where they last hit a creep and immediately blink to trade. Do not do this. You will blink in and stand still because your auto attack is on cooldown. The Phantom Strike buff doesn't help because your hero's next attack interval was determined when you completed your previous attack. Now, your attack interval will update in real time if your attack speed increases by an ungodly proportion. But it's not realistic unless your attack speed is really low. I did a bit of experimentation, but for now, I'll just leave what I have and move on. Let's take a look at the button pressing aspects of PA. QW is relatively straightforward. For the QW combo, Q takes 0.3 seconds to cast, so the earliest you can begin casting W is the next frame. W takes 0.266 seconds to cast, meaning the fastest possible QW combo is 0.6 seconds. However, Immortal players, including top pros, often have around 0.1 to 0.2 extra seconds between casting Q and W, bringing the total cast time to 0.7 or 0.8 seconds. Many players cast Q and then spam W, but because humans tap less than 10 times each second, while Dota has 30 ticks each second, this is imprecise. For greater precision, you can time your W with the dagger sound effect. Casting W the moment the dagger effect starts will net you a clean 0.033 delay, and even if you're slow, it's easy to get consistently below 0.1 seconds. To see why, let's take a look under the hood of a frame-perfect cast. Let's see that again, frame by frame. So, from the red circle, we see the dagger command registered at 45.8. See? No circle, red circle. After that, there's the Q-cast animation, which takes an entire 0.3 seconds. Note the tick at 46 seconds. We'll get to that later. Let's keep going until we hit the cast point at 46.133. And there it is. Now, the next frame, you can see from the red circle that we casted W at the earliest point possible. However, notice from the blue sound wave that even though we hit the W command at 46.166, the dagger sound effect actually starts at 46.2. You can also hear it in the frame by frame. And this is why you get a 0.033 second delay if you time your W by sound, which honestly is still great, on top of being safe and reliable. That said, real men go for 0.000. Real men also use USB PS2 adapters for maximum hardware precision, evading all USB related polling issues. There's another optimization. When PA blinks to an enemy, she will automatically issue an attack command. However, this command is delayed. PA will cast Phantom Strike at 0.266 seconds, be idle at 0.3, and will only begin her attack animation at the next server tick. However, if you use an item or manually issue an attack command exactly on the 0.3 server tick, the attack animation will also begin at 0.3, one frame faster. During the laning stage, you'd issue an attack command, but once you have it, treads is preferred since PA needs to tread switch. Late game, you could instead cast items like Nullifier, Abyssal, etc. An added advantage of the frame-perfect tread switch is that you'll get an extra 10 damage on the hit. Dota determines the damage of your auto at the beginning of the attack animation, meaning that if you tread switch to Agi after PA has begun her attack, you don't get the bonus 10 damage even if the attack hasn't landed yet. This mechanic is also why PA can't get the maximum benefits from switching both treads and vambrace, as you can only cast one item each 0.033 server tick. With PA's low mana pool, you should nevertheless be casting on double int, but you have to choose between 10 damage and 10 attack speed, or 8 damage and 18 attack speed. Personally, I prefer vambrace because 8 attack speed is noticeable, unlike 2 damage. Or do I? An astute viewer would remember PA's next attack interval is actually determined when an attack lands, so the correct answer is to tread switch first, then vambrace for 10 damage and 28 attack speed. In this chapter, we've discussed 2 ways to shave down the QW combo. Combining them takes off 0.133 to 0.233 seconds over even top players. The faster attack is great for farming and fights. This often means getting an extra attack, especially late game where PA's attack rate dips below 0.4 seconds. But some people will whine that it's too much effort for barely a fraction of a second. So let's put this into perspective. In the QW combo, the game literally gives you a free alarm when it's time to click W. So, a single frame can make or break the fight, including in immortal games where margins are thin. An edge panner. So PA was one hit away from securing the kill, but Rubik stunned him mid-animation. A couple things. We see PA's QW combo was delayed by 0.1 seconds. She also didn't tread switch for the first attack to land sooner. Lastly, presumably for Blade Mail, PA switched from Agi to Strength Treads here, lowering her attack speed. The first attack was at 40.633. Let's calculate when that crucial 4th auto would have hit. With only Agi Treads, PA's hit would have rounded up to the next server tick at 41.966. However, Strength Treads pushed the 4th attack to the next frame by a mere 0.003 second margin. Now Rubik's Spear hit PA at 41.966. Some stuns cancel your attack if they hit simultaneously, but other stuns, like Spear, do not. This means if PA's QW combo was cleaner by just 1 frame, if she used the tread switch trick, or if she didn't tread switch to Strength at the last second, she would have secured the kill. The WQ combo was also possible. And still, these optimizations save you more than 1 frame. Hypothetically, suppose you save 0.166 seconds over the average player. This is a conservative estimate, put mildly. Let's see how long it takes a level 10 PA with basic items to get off 1 dagger and 6 autos. We can use this to calculate PA's effective attack speed with and without time-saving mechanics. This means getting your attacks off 0.166 faster nets PA plus 30 attack speed, as if you had an extra level in Phantom Strike. Imagine farming and fighting with a 5th level in your W. It's half your level 20 talent. Now suppose we're getting into late game. PA has her level 20 attack speed talent, a few more items, and the 25-minute upgraded Wraith Band. It's like your level 20 talent was a plus 110 attack speed talent, while for everyone else it's only plus 60. It's 2 Gloves of Haste and an Alacrity Blade, 1.9k free gold worth of items without needing any inventory slots. And remember, 0.166 was a conservative figure. The WQ combo requires more precision. You have to cast your Q after the first auto and then cancel Q's backswing with a second attack. However, compared to the perfect QW combo, which already gives value time savings, WQ beats out this combo by an additional 0.333 seconds. In situations where every second counts, this is huge. The QW tread switching trick applies here too. Just like last time, we can also calculate the effective attack speed bonus for 6 autos. Now here's what the combo looks like. First, a casual attempt. And now, frame perfect. In the casual version, the dagger delays PA's attacks. However, when timed correctly, the Q fits seamlessly in between. This timing is easy since his combo is delicate. Fortunately, 0.333 seconds is a long time. Even if you mess up and lose 7 entire frames, that's still a 0.1 second gain over the QW combo. Nevertheless, if you can, a clean combo has great rewards. So PA hit Grimstroke at 36.233 and Grim used Ghost Scepter at 37166. Right on time since PA had her crit buff. However, if PA had press switched and comboed perfectly, all else constant, he would have landed her attack just in time, securing the kill with just enough damage on the last frame possible. Otherwise, Grim survived, PA died, and his game was harder. However, Team Spirit does end up mounting a genius comeback, which we cover later. But it's more than just kills. PA's build is instructive. I think his idea is against the Radiant draft, PA needs Satanic to sustain Rupture, Quills, etc. And yes, AA's ultimate counters Satanic, but not if AA dies first. Initially, it looks like PA needed a Basher, or it was wrong to initiate alone. But let's take a closer look. PA delayed her dagger cast by 0.366 seconds. That's barely noticeable, but a timely Q was crucial to apply the slow. Because the delay combined with the 0.3 second Q cast animation, AA ran far enough that PA was forced to chase. Earlier, we touched on the WQ combo being bad if they're running away, and this is a prime example. PA catches up quickly, but this gave AA time. AA realizes he's dispelled and reacts quickly, casting Ice Blast a split second before death, killing PA. Seriously, look how quick that sequence is. Well played, but he wouldn't have had this opportunity if he was just dead. It only took 1 dagger, 2 autos, and shard to kill AA. With a clean combo, this would have taken less than a second. In this situation, the QW combo was also an easier alternative. Either way, AA would have died before casting his ult. Then PA would have Satanic and BKB for the ensuing fight. So it turns out PA had an accurate read of this game, but misexecuted. There is an emerging pattern here that when PA takes more time to attack, it's not just about getting the kill, it's about PA being vulnerable longer to tanking spells and damage. In both cases, a clean combo wouldn't have just secured the kill, it would have also kept PA alive and healthy. The WQ combo requires precision so the Q doesn't delay PA's attacks. However, below 340 attack speed, PA's attack interval is at least half a second, plenty of time to insert PA's dagger. That's a level 5 PA with Dredge, Wraithband, and 3 levels in Phantom Strike. This means it's really easy during laning phase, but gets harder when PA gains attack speed with levels and items, inevitably shrinking the margins of error. The key question. At what point does PA attack so fast that you can't insert the dagger without delaying her attacks? Let's assume that PA's attack animation is 0.1 because we have no timing issues below 300. The first attack completes at 0.4, the second at 0.866. From this, it appears that you can't get 2 attacks closer than 0.466 seconds apart, meaning that this combo will delay PA's autos when she has 366 attack speed, which is 1 attack every 0.464 seconds. However, since Dota runs at 30 server ticks per second, the game will round your attack to nearby ticks while internally tracking the exact time you were supposed to attack. For example, when PA has 171 attack speed, she is supposed to attack every 0.99 second. We see that initially her attacks do get rounded to 1 second, but after a few hits, they start occurring earlier. In case you're wondering why the 4th attack occurred later, Dota randomly alters your attack by a single frame sometimes. For example, with 170 attack speed, we see that PA does maintain an average of 1 second per hit, even though there are occasional blips. Putting this all together, let's take a look at 366 attack speed. Notice the first attack interval gets rounded up to 0.466, while the second goes up to 0.5, and the third rounds down to 0.433. The first attack interval is usually longer, which is one reason why it's better to insert the dagger in between the first two attacks. Now let's verify whether the WQ combo benefits from this interaction. And it does. Hooray! It turns out 381 attack speed is the highest attack speed value that gives a 0.466 attack interval for the second attack. Once you hit 382, it's 0.433. Although, once in a blue moon, 381 does give you 0.433. Yeah, but realistically speaking, PA is fine at 381 or below. I suppose this means that at 382 attack speed, the WQ combo will delay PA's attacks. Isn't that so sad? Or is it? The first auto hit at 14.4, but the second hit at 14.833 for an attack interval of 0.433. This is physically impossible. Where is the missing frame? On closer examination, we see that since Stifling Dagger was casted at 14.733, PA's attack animation was 0.066. There is the frame. But PA's attack animation is 0.1 at 382 attack speed. She needs 450 for a 0.066 animation. It turns out the length of your attack animation changes even when your attack speed is constant. For example, with 170 attack speed, PA's first animation is 0.2, but the second is 0.166. Frame by frame, when PA is just chilling, her movements are subtle. But when we issue an attack command, the next frame PA clearly rotates, which is the attack animation. See? So that's the first frame. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rubik's missing health bar indicates a successful hit. Sometimes the damage text comes late. Next attack. This time we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames. And there it is. The reason for the different animation lengths is that the game rounds the cumulative attack animation during attacks up to the nearest server tick. For example, if your attack animation is actually 0.145, then Dota will round the first attack up to 0.166, taking an extra 0.021 seconds. However, the game will apply this 0.021 seconds to your next attack. This means on your second hit, you will have a lower attack animation of 0.133. Now that we understand this, we can run a script that calculates the attack animation for the first two hits for all attack speeds between 1 and 700. And we see from the totals that it is around 50-50 for the second attack to be faster or equal. This means that during the laning phase, if you have the right attack speed, you could take advantage of this mechanic to last hit on your second attack for a 1 frame faster animation. Of course, this only works for 2 attacks in quick succession. Pop quiz. At what attack speed and at how many hits do you get 2 frames faster? Back on track. You can actually see when the attack animation changes too. Like here's the 129 attack speed timing we talked about, where PA gets a 1 frame faster animation. And here's 382. And finally, we see that around this attack speed, PA always has a faster 0.066 animation on her second attack. And this answers our question as to why, at 382 attack speed, PA can seamlessly pull off her combo in 0.433 seconds. This means that as long as PA's attack interval is 0.433 seconds, PA can smoothly insert her dagger between auto attacks. However, when PA hits 420 attack speed, her attack interval falls to 0.4. This means PA hits the limit of the combo. That's just how the tumbleweed tumbles, right? So we see that with the dagger in between, the attack interval is 0.433. But wait, the second interval is now 0.4. So it turns out that yes, the WQ combo did delay PA's second attack, but the third attack occurred faster as compensation. To figure out why this was happening, I reverse engineered how Dota handles attack intervals. Here are some autos at 322, their intervals, and the code outputting said intervals. The numbers match. This code shows what happens frame by frame. We calculate PA's attack animation and attack interval, But obviously these are theoretical decimals. To find when PA actually hits, we have to round. There are 3 parts: PA's idle time, her attack animation, and then her attack point. Then it repeats. But first, PA needs to get in that initial hit. So here PA goes through her animation frame by frame until we reach her animation value. At that point, her first attack lands. Now we set our theoretical attack point based on PA's attack rate, approximating the next attack. For now, PA's attack is on cooldown. To calculate her idle time, we take her next expected attack point and subtract PA's theoretical attack animation. Then we stay idle frame by frame until we reach this point. Now PA can begin her attack animation. How many frames do you think the animation will take? If you said 2 frames, you're absolutely wrong. Yes, PA has an extra 0.07 seconds as compensation from the first attack, but this only decreases the required duration to 0.86. Therefore, after rounding up, PA's animation takes 0.1 seconds total, giving her a final attack interval of 0.566. PA completes her attack, and we've come a full circle. So yeah, that's the code. It gives variability and creates complexity in these niche interactions that heroes like PA can take advantage of. A disclaimer though, that this code fails at a few attack speeds, like 300, when PA's attack animation is exactly 0.100. Things get weird. It's probably rounding issues. Maybe it's because the server ticks are 0.033 or 0.034 instead of 0.03 repeating. Exceptions aside, if we check 170 attack speed, now we see why PA doesn't have consistent 1 second intervals. What's happening is that sometimes PA's attack animations go long. However, the next attack, the code adjusts PA's idle time to be shorter, putting her back on track. And so, bringing everything around, this interaction is why PA gets her frame back. Even if PA's auto is slightly late, her next attack point is unchanged, so the code will modify PA's idle time to compensate. A pleasant discovery is that this compensation occurs even if you mistime PA's combo. As long as you are not more than 2 frames off, you earn the faster attack animation and guaranteed attack point. Maybe it's coded to be 2 frames leeway flat, or you have to begin your attack before the theoretical attack point. Hold on. The dagger was late by 3 frames, but the attack was delayed by 4. Why? So normally, PA has a 0.066 attack animation on her second attack, but because we took more than 2 frames in between, Dota treats this attack as if it were PA's first, giving it an animation and attack interval of 0.1 and 0.433 respectively. By the way, can you figure out why this is 0.433 instead of 0.4? But the main takeaway is, either way, above 300, it's 2 frames of forgiveness. However, with higher attack speeds, you'll need this forgiveness to compensate for PA's narrowing interval. But with a perfectly timed combo, these 2 frames allow PA to combo seamlessly at attack speeds as high as 463. But as they say, those who evade repose don't recognize their hearts pounding for its knocking. At 464 and above, PA attacks 2 frames slower, even with a frame perfect combo. This is because PA's theoretical attack interval is now below 0.366, so even with a 2 frame leeway, it falls below the required 0.433 for Dota to treat PA's autos as consecutive attacks. Consequently, like last time, Dota resets PA's animation and attack interval. Since you're losing 2 frames, being slightly above 463 is actually inefficient. Instead, when you use Phantom Strike, try to switch away from Agi to get a lower attack speed in order to attack faster. To maximize efficiency, switch back to Agi after the first attack. For reference, you normally reach this point with PA's level 20 talent. Many eons ago, we asked the simple question: when does PA attack too fast for the WQ combo to keep up? And this time, the final limit is 464. No tricks, no more niche code interactions. Taking a step back, this combo is intense, but it's like riding a bike. It's a breeze once you have a feel for the timing. Also, at certain attack speeds, you can theoretically insert your Q between the second and third attack for an extra frame to work with. To finish this chapter, I was fascinated by forgiveness, the number of frames Dota will give back, so to speak. At high attack speeds, you magically materialize 2 frames out of nowhere, as if you're casting a spell and attacking at the same time. There was a lot of theorizing and testing for this video, and even this simple chart holds a vibrant history of confusion, headbanging, and a lot of fun. And that's why, for anyone interested, I've sprinkled a few pop quizzes and puzzles along the way. It has been a lovely journey thus far. Let's take an intermission to take a break, regain our bearings. I have a little midway refreshment for you, my companion. You'll remember that clip of PA hitting at 170 attack speed. She was consistently averaging 1 second per hit. Remember that. Perhaps you ought to pause before we embark on a bit of evening divertisement. Or are you ready? So my question. What is going on here? Let's consider how Phantom Strike applies to attacks. As we know, each attack has an attack animation and idle time. Attack animation scales with attack speed in real time. This is why Tiny can threat switch to Agi after his animation begins for both the extra damage and attack speed. For PA, even if Phantom Strike expires during her attack animation, the proportion already completed still applies. Here, thread switching doubles in value, saving 2 frames because 1 animation frame inside W is often worth 2 outside. PA completes 6 attacks 1 frame quicker roughly every 5.2 attack speed, so 2 frames is a plus 10 buff. It's a similar story if PA completes an attack before Phantom Strike ends. PA's next idle time is initially reduced heavily, and farther reductions scale with additional buff time. Here again, thread switching amplifies the effect. Thread switching can be the difference between extra buffed attacks. PA has a power spike with each additional attack, so this is huge. By default, PA gets 3 attacks during Phantom Strike and 1 partially buffed outer attack after, so 3 plus 1. With 122 attack speed, you can issue a timely attack command to get 4 plus 1. This is a steroid for trigs. Alternately, some stats offer the same timing. For 5 plus 1, you need at least level 2 Phantom Strike. From there, you take another level in W or finish power treads. If you somehow have treads at level 3, you can get a 5 plus 1 timing 1 level earlier by tread switching. 6 plus 1 comes with level 4. So obviously, you should always tread switch, but this patch is not a huge tread switch patch. It's a few small timings during laning, and the power spikes are relevant, but with a narrow window of application. However, the timings are highly volatile each patch. There are laning phase oriented tread switch patches and farming oriented ones. To ensure we're ready for whatever timings the future holds in store, let's visit 7.35, a farming tread switch patch. You get 4 plus 1 with treads or level 2 W. Level 3 gives 5 plus 1. This is where the 7.35 plus 0.5 second duration buff comes into play. With the old 2 second duration, PA would hit 4 plus 1 around treads and level 2 Phantom Strike. However, even with max W, PA needed 205 base attack speed, or her level 10 talent, to hit 5 plus 1. So extra levels in W during the laning stage were underwhelming compared to Stifling Dagger. But now, in 7.35, each level is a tangible improvement. Things get interesting at level 10. The plus 0.5 duration talent immediately grants 6+1 attacks. That said, if you tread switch, you get 7+1. This means PA goes from 5+1 to 7+1, a double power spike timing. This is good for fighting and incredible for farming. This is PA's level 10 tread switch timing. You may notice tread switch enjoyers get this timing with naked treads. However, this enjoyers need stats. Here, 190 base attack speed gives 6+1. For 7+1, we take away 1 attack speed. See? 7. Is something wrong? Did you forget? Bless your heart. A lower attack speed gives more attacks. For example, at 190 we have 7+1, but with +1 attack speed it's 6+1. Again, if we remove 2 branches, now we're back to 7+1. Long story short, without tread switching you'll need +8 attack speed for a consistent 7+1 timing. And that's why it's the level 10 tread switch timing. But here's a Dota trivia question. Blast from the past. Did you know PA used to have a different tread switch timing? With 2 levels in W and with the TI-12 Circuit branch build, or even just +2 stats, a Tread's level 4 PA gets 4+1 hits with tread switching. It's called PA's level 4 tread switch timing. I imagine some enemies being confused why PA sent just a single branch on courier, but little do they know, that branch is a 167 speed ticket to their coffin. Those are timings. Now back to the present. You may have noticed that putting skill points in W progressively improved each patch. W is now a 2-point wonder with both 4+1 and 5+1 timings possible. You also get an immediate power spike if you max W in lane, as opposed to needing heavy stats or waiting for the level 10 talent, which still gives an additional attack. From there, your next timing is with attack speed items or the level 20 talent, and of course, moonshard gives even deeper timings. However, whichever talent you take, whatever item build you make, the 7.34B nerf pushes these timings late. So yeah, I dedicate this section to tread switch unenjoyers. Unenjoyers, not disenjoyers. Disenjoyers don't tread switch because they play casually, for fun, very typical reasons. Now, unenjoyers, these valuable, intelligent people discredit frame perfect efficiency. They'll make well-intentioned comments when I say it's like having an extra level in Phantom Strike. But you know, you're definitely not playing with as many levels in W as the number of legs your mother has. PA's ultimate proc chance is pseudo-random. This chart gives the effective and incremental chances. For example, a pseudo-random 17% chance means PA only has a 4.1 chance to acquire her buff, but if she doesn't, her next attack gets incremented by a cumulative 4.1% bonus. When she does acquire the buff, the bonuses vanish. Repeated in the long run, PA does crit 17% of the time. So let's establish some terminology. We'll say that 80% means pretty likely or decently solid, but we expect failure every so often. Next, in line with statistical significance, we'll consider a 95% chance as a reliable crit, or basically guaranteed, like if you said you were 95% sure your carry is an account buyer. Here, we calculate the probability that PA will crit at least once given a set number of attacks. PA needs 9 hits for a decent chance, which is a lot. Even at 10 hits, it's still not a guarantee. Now, she'll often crit earlier, but it's unreliable. However, if PA daggers first, the dagger's massive 15% incremental value means 1 dagger and 6 autos give PA a solid chance. This is more realistic. Overall, these numbers are okay-ish. But PA can prepare her crits to stack incremental bonuses, whether by hitting creeps or tossing casual daggers. With 1 dagger preparation, the consistency is insane. Even if you prep with only attacks, just a single auto gives a guaranteed crit 1 attack sooner. There are similar improvements with 2 and 3. An important but subtle skill is tracking the accumulated increment. When a fight is imminent, you may even prioritize prepping over farming. Especially late game, this seems small but literally wins games. For example, it looks like PA prepped 4 autos and 1 dagger. That's some prep. Again, it came down to 1 hit. So this was a 0.2 second delayed QW combo, but a tread switch WQ would have been 0.566 faster, and abundance of time for the extra attack. But that's an old chapter, so just ignore that. So PA missed 1 hit because of Radiance, but with that prep, the probability of critting was still 85%. So PA was unlucky. Or was she? Rewatch and see if you notice anything. So, did you see? PA killed the creep she daggered, so dagger never hit. That may have lost him the kill. If he had blinked on a different creep, clearing the wave 1 attack sooner would mean in theory he would have arrived 1 crucial attack earlier. Also, because dagger hit thin air, PA's prep was only 4 autos, which is decent, but suddenly it doesn't feel like PA was that unlucky. Also, PA should have daggered the camp, and either she gets the crit buff and kills Rubik, or she can dagger again with insane prep because he took the cooldown talent. PA often misses the kill by a single hit. Imagine the next 10 times you would barely miss the kill. You wave a magic wand and get the kill 8 times. These replays are anecdotal exhibit A that such events are common and game deciding. The natural intuition is that close scenarios are uncommon because you expect PA to experience a range of easy and hard kills. But since PA is a burst hero, a trend towards easy kills would mean she's overbuffed and broken. On the other hand, you'll rarely see hard kills because that's just bad initiation. Good PA players don't commit if it wouldn't be close to begin with. And obviously this also happens when PA is overnerfed. So yes, every fight is unique, but in balance patches, PA's overall trend will regress towards that delicate precipice where small nuances are not small at all. Also, this pathing is wasting time. Cutting a tree would have killed Rubik. So wrapping things up, many things would have compensated for the bad luck. In successful games, PA looks like a brain-dead point-and-click hero. It's when PA misses the kill that you realize all the small details that have to align just right. One game where that did happen was at the International. As we alluded to previously, Team Spirit was behind, but they decide to smoke because PA just finished Rapier. I watched this game live, and man, that was a sick purchase. Pure genius. With all this prep, PA gets 2 rapid crits. This play turned the game. Taking a closer look, PA prioritized the break first, even cancelling her first attack. Given that Bristle is taunted, a slightly earlier break doesn't seem worth the sacrifice. Additionally, even though PA got 2 buffs, she only crit once. There's a bug where PA's buff doesn't crit if acquired mid-attack animation. You don't get this issue with WQ because Dagger has no travel time when cast on top of heroes. However, this doesn't apply to heroes with small hitboxes like Hoodwink or PL. This is game losing because Dagger has a high trigger chance. Furthermore, Dagger's travel time is consistent for PA's Arcana, but PA's regular skin will cast closer daggers depending on which animation she uses. So the Arcana is worse against small hitbox heroes. By the way, PL supposedly has the same hitbox as Hoodwink, but PA gets varied travel times when daggering PL. And with the Arcana, it's consistently 0.033? Wait, does Roshan hitting a hero change their hitbox? Long story short, fortunately PA got that second crit, otherwise Bristleback did have Bloodstone available. And with no crit, we might be discussing instead how a bug and 1 premature shard cost Team Spirit the game. But 1 second, didn't Endurance Cap proc during Axe Call? The cooldown doesn't match. In fact, this cooldown is the only reason they barely burst down Bristleback, even with Rapier. It'd be impressive if anyone already knows why. Did you know Force Staff doesn't proc the cap, but Hurricane Pike does? And guess who was checking Bristleback's items? Coincidence or God? But take care not to over-prep. A procced victimless ult is wasted. For example, 4 prepped autos give more incremental bonus than a dagger, but 35% of the time the buff procs. So situational discretion and preferences apply. Note these charts assume the dagger hits first. Basically, it's a slow QW combo. However, with a fast QW from afar, and with WQ, the attack hits first. Comparing hit to hit, the first few autos are less likely to crit, but by the 6th, the odds even out. This is because the first hit has a lower buff probability, but the later probabilities remain the same. In fact, with 1 dagger prep, you can't even tell which is which anymore. The difference is practically negligible. That said, WQ is faster, so arguably it's like a QW combo with an extra hit to start. Depending on your perspective, WQ is more likely to crit because you get more hits sooner, or QW is likelier because the first hit has a higher buff chance. It's situational, but if you aren't rushing to initiate, you generally maximize crit chance. Likewise, if you're only getting a few hits off either way. The exception is if you have so much prep you'd be wasting the 15% dagger increment. In that case, let the auto proc first and then Q to hasten a second crit. This is especially useful while farming, where critting with dagger gives a faster second buff and more crit damage. Overall, playing efficiently, you prefer WQ or a slow QW combo. The fast QW often has no advantage other than ease. Lastly, a mechanical note about QW on when to press W for the dagger to hit first. Since our attack hits at 0.433, we can cast W when the dagger is at 500 range or closer. The hilt is the actual projectile, not the blade. If you time it with the blade, you'll blink in early. Notice both the dagger and auto landed at the same time, and Dota considers this as if the auto hit first. However, when timing our W with the hilt, it's frame perfect. Thread switching or having an attack speed above 450 results in the attack occurring 1 frame faster. This means waiting for the dagger to cover the extra distance, but if you're happy already waiting an extra second to min-max your crit chance, you probably don't mind. We'll conclude with a topic close to my heart, PA's level 25. Triple Dagger gives PA spread damage and utility, it's slow and vision, long range wave clear, and sometimes you'll accidentally murder people because 3 daggers have a high crit chance. And of course, there's always niche situations like if there are many Lincolns, etc. In contrast, plus 7% buff chance does not add utility, but it fundamentally synergizes with PA, a single target damage dealer. Some think this is just a 31.5% increase in damage, and this is true in the long run. However, in actual fights, PA does a rapid, finite burst of attacks. Each extra attack leaves her 1 hit more vulnerable to counterplay. The real question is, how likely will PA crit quickly when she commits? Not how much more damage does PA output on average if she hits a target dummy 50 times. We'll define quickly as 1 dagger and 6 autos, roughly what PA gets in with Abyssal Blade. But to get the full picture, we'll take a stroll starting from the old instant 15% crit. Without prep, PA would not crit during a dagger and 6 autos 37% of the time. So more than a third of the time, you wouldn't burst someone full to 0. However, with the plus 7% talent, this is only 10%. It's massively more consistent, and the graph really puts these numbers into perspective. Without the talent, you'll inconsistently crit within 3 to 9 hits in most cases, except when you're unlucky and it can take even 12 or more hits. That's a disaster. But with the talent, You usually crit within 2 to 6 hits, and even when you're really unlucky, it's within reason. The question changes from will PA even crit once to will PA crit twice or even 3 times. The talent has massive impact. In many games, it would be the difference between winning and losing. With 7.33 in perspective, we embark upon 7.34. The only change was that PA's ultimate was reworked to the current buff system. Remember how old PA wouldn't crit 38% of the time, or 10% with 25? Now in 7.34, it's 7.7%. 7.7. PA got her 25 talent for free at level 6 and then some. This was the only period where the triple dagger talent was clearly superior. PA's crit rate was already insane enough, and with the 40% buff rate, triple daggers were death. Credit to Valve, this rework addressed PA's inconsistent critting, but the numbers were too high. It's fascinating people blamed a lot of things, aside from the one solitary change that patch. I agree Blur was obnoxious and deserved nerfs, but PA was broken because she reliably critted and killed everyone. If she doesn't crit, it doesn't matter how long she's blurred for, her victim survives and PA has overextended, broken eggs or not. Dagger included, PA usually gets 3 or 4 hits before the opponent reacts, especially if she's blurred. If she crits, it's a free kill. Around 4 to 7 hits, enemies do react, but if PA commits wisely, a crit secures a comfortable kill. This is why PA buys items that give a lethal burst of damage during this period, or ensure she can get these hits off. From watching replays, PA rarely hits more than 7 times. Like 7 is moderately common, but curiously, 8 just doesn't happen. In theory, PA still has her W buff, but maybe things get weird after 7 hits because the victim is usually dead or they've mounted substantial counterplay. With this in mind, we see why critting mostly in 3 to 9 hits used to be a gamble. But with the rework, PA mostly crit between 2 and 5, meaning she consistently scored easy kills in less than a second. Nerfing the Axe fate time from 0.75 to 0.5 is a good change, but how much it contributed to PA being broken is a different question entirely. Naturally, Valve nerfed these numbers, bringing us to the present values of 17 and 34%. As of 7.35b, PA won't crit 17% of the time in 1 dagger and 6 autos. That's roughly half her old 25 talent. It's more reasonable, although arguably now it's slightly undertuned. But, crucially, if you get the level 25 crit talent, this ups PA's dagger and auto to 41 and 24% respectively. Does that sound familiar? These are the numbers PA had when she was absolutely broken, only better. Enemies die. There are games where you justifiably prefer triple dagger, but you need a good reason. Wave clear, or if you already reliably kill people, are potential considerations. I know it's an argument that some games you don't feel comfortable blinking in, so you want to triple dagger from afar. That said, often your way back is committing your W to get that crucial kill on that crucial target. In those cases where PA has a limited window of opportunity, she has to make it count, so maybe the crit is still preferred. This varies by situation, so take it on a case-by-case basis. In conclusion, take the goddamn talent. Originally, this guide was supposed to be one video. The mechanics section was planned to be a single chapter. Then things happened. Yep. If you appreciated this volume, click on the GitHub links below. It's been a year. I want this fixed. Seriously, this video was an hour. Take 2 minutes to make an account and click the like button on the GitHub issues. Also, if anyone has a line to Icefog or the esteemed balance team, please suggest to them to give PA her 2 base agi back. Maybe even plus 3 agi. I also think PA's crit was slightly undertuned even when she had lifesteal. Especially now without lifesteal, PA really becomes this full commit, no turning back hero. Either way, I think +1, +2% on the crit is just right. So if they aren't giving PA her lifesteal back, which is understandable, I think they should revert the 7.32b stat changes, which was arguably justified because of the lifesteal, but now PA doesn't have lifesteal, so... A bit random, but Blur should be dispellable. If PA initiates poorly and gets nullified, she shouldn't be able to just disappear. And I think if Invoker tornadoes PA from like 1000 range, that should be rewarded. Lastly, I think PA's talent tree is really well designed overall, but I would like to see the 10 and 20 dagger talents changed. Right now, the level 10 talent choice is not a choice. Maybe the talent also has to heavily reduce mana cost, because right now PA literally doesn't have the mana to spam dagger off cooldown while farming. In some scenarios, we're happy spamming dagger in fights, but even then it's of dubious utility. In contrast, the half-second Phantom Strike talent is consistently and clearly useful the entire game. As for the 20 Dagger talent, most level 20 talents feel like a power spike, but this feels like nothing. The plus 60 attack speed talent gives you an extra attack during Phantom Strike. In that perspective, 20% extra attack damage is 5 times worse. But instead, on my Christmas list, level 20 Coup de Grace Corrupts Armor sounds really cool. That said, mainly I care about the plus 3 base agility and plus 1% crit chance. Okay, wait, one more thing, hear me out. Buff Oracle's Fate's Edict cooldown and mana cost, but give Oracle the old double-edged Fate's Edict. Then make Edict Doesn't Disarm Ally grants enemies magic resist a level 10 talent choice. So you need a brain to play Oracle again, but you can choose your fate at level 10. Also Oracle plus 2 base intelligence maybe.